Hey, and welcome back to another week of progress. So I've been going pretty hard this week on some comp requirements, on some training, even did a little bit of PVM. This video is going up during the double XP weekend. Don't worry, my XP is currently paused. Hopefully yours isn't, and you're training hard. But I figured the double XP weekend is going on. A lot of y'all are probably grinding. Now is a good time to get a video up. So I wanted to start here because we have a pretty good milestone to hit. So I have been managing my base camp here in Anachronia. It's something we haven't really touched on yet. I've gotten a few upgrades, mostly just little tiny ones, not very expensive ones. But one that we're going to hit today is the Tier 2 storehouse, which is going to increase our worker count from 15 to 30. So I believe that means we can harvest twice as much resources, which is going to be big. So some things I do want to go for is the Hunter Lodge. I've heard Tier 2 is really good for big game hunter. And then obviously I want the Slayer Lodge as well, because Tier 3, being able to put your helmet on a stand and not have to wear it, that's a big upgrade. But for now, we're going to go with the sleeping quarters. Alright, there we go. I now have twice as many workers to allocate. I'm not sure which upgrade to go for next. I'll have to figure out what the best way to spend these guys is. I ended up putting most of them in wood, leaves, and hides, because I really do want to try out Big Game Hunter. It looks like really fun content. There are a couple things we want to unlock. We'll want to get Tier 2 Lodge first, which will take a lot less time now that we have more workers. But I also want to unlock the Double Surge or the Bladed Dive or some sort of mobility, because that's really important for Big Game Hunter too. Okay, let's get into the clips. I mostly worked on Comprex to start, but then after double XP weekend started, I shifted into more training. So I'll show you what I did during the past week, and enjoy. And this week, unlike the past few videos, we are going to waste absolutely no time getting into something actually exciting and worth watching. And that is Elite Dungeons 2. So a lot of you have been encouraging me to try out the Elite Dungeons. Not necessarily this one, but all three of them, as there are three. And I finally followed through with that this week. I went with one of my good long-term friends who is pretty good at Elite Dungeons and was able to kind of give me a tutorial and a rundown and show me the ropes. We just duoed it this time. And I'm planning on doing the other two Elite Dungeons at some point in the future. Those will not be happening this week. But this was my first experience with Elite Dungeon 2, and I gotta say, it was great. So the Elite Dungeon is you run through kind of a trash mob section, then there's a boss, and that repeats 3 times. And I would say the bosses increase in order of difficulty, or at the very least the fight durations increase. The first boss is really quick. Even sped up, you could probably tell it did not take very long to take down that first guy. And then the second boss is quite a bit longer. His health pool is a lot larger, and he has some mechanics that can kind of stall the fight and prevent you from doing damage to him. The first 2 bosses were fairly easy, and then we got to the third boss, which admittedly isn't too much of a challenge once you get the hang of it, but I wanted to include a couple of clips of me dying because several of you have been requesting just clips of me failing miserably at bosses, and that did happen a couple of times. I think once I got caught by his kind of circle of fire that goes around and goes in, just wasn't sure where to stand, and then the second time I was standing too close to a hand, and if you're standing right by them and you're not aware of the timing of when their little hands come out, they can KO you pretty quickly. But we eventually got it down. The first 2 deaths were just kind of like a learning experience, but then after that it was pretty smooth sailing after that. It's a bit of a mechanic-heavy boss, and the mechanics are dangerous, but they're also not particularly difficult to dodge. So once you get the mechanics down, it's not too bad. So I was able to get my first KC at Elite Dungeons, which is one less thing that is needed for the Reaper title, which is a title that provides you a pretty significant buff to PVM if you have at least 1 kill count in every single boss in the game. And that buff, looking it up here, is you get some prayer bonus, you get some armor, you get some life bonus, and you get damage bonus to all 3 styles. So that is absolutely something that I'm going for. And this is just, I guess, phase 1 in that. I'm not going to make some sort of official counter or anything tracking it, but we will be going for that. So this is the rewards from Elite Dungeon 1. Just got 1.5 mil. Neither of us got any drops. The real money here comes from the codexes, but the normal drops do pay for supplies and such, and they add up over time. Oh, there it is. I was not expecting that, but that's another Reaper task done. And I got 22 Reaper points for only 10 Twin Furies. That is really good. Okay, I think it's time to get started on working on some comp recs. Honestly, there's a lot of stuff to do, a lot of quests. It was hard to figure out a place that I actually wanted to start, but I came up with one, and that is a achievement we're pretty close to in finishing off all of the task sets. So I must have done the Wilderness Easy task sets at some point. I don't remember when they came out. I think it was right before I stopped playing, but I neglected to complete the Medium, Hard, and the Elite part of the task set. So I'm going to work on those now. I think part of it I have to like plant herbs or something, so I might not be able to do it all at once, but I'm going to work on getting these done hopefully in the next couple of days. Okay, we finished off the medium wilderness tasks. I think I can claim the rewards from this dude. Yep, there's XP lamps. I also got the to-do list for the cleaning up Edgeville mini quest, which I think is a comp requirement, so maybe I'll work on this afterwards. You know, in all my years of playing RuneScape, this is one piece of content I have never ever done that has been available to do, but for whatever reason, there was never a compelling cause to come kill the tormented wraith. That's kind of cool. This would be sweet if this was one of those bosses that was like updated and made viable content again. Okay, I finished up the hard wilderness tasks. I did a full inventory of air orbs just to check out what the money is like because I noticed air orbs are super expensive. But even at 5.6k each, the money is still just okay. It takes like 2.5 minutes to do a run, so you're only making at that rate like 2 mil an hour, which is not bad for how AFK and easy it is to do and low requirements, but not something I'm interested in. Okay, here are our hard rewards, and unfortunately we can't do the elites until a wilderness warband starts, which is not for I believe like 3 hours at the time I'm recording this, and I will be gone by then, so I might have to wait till tonight or tomorrow or something. But 77k Herblore XP for 2 lamps, that's insane. That was very little effort for a pretty decent amount of XP at the end. Okay, a few days have passed, and we have already been able to breed a vanilla cow, a chocolate cow, and a strawberry cow. So they are at different growth stages. I don't know if that matters or not. Hopefully, we're going to check it out, and hopefully this is exactly what we need to finish that archaeology mission. Okay, that was the end of that puzzle, which was really easy, but that's the end of the mystery day gone by, and now we get a pact with this guy, I guess. But this pact is even more important than I thought, because this is apparently what we need in order to use ancient summoning. So we can now use things like the Ripper Demon Familiar, and I think there's a few others like the Water Fiend, and I don't remember what all of them do. But there's some really important familiars that I can now get just by signing this thing. And apparently killing Ripper Demons is a really good money-making method because you can make binding contracts by killing them, and those are worth mucho dinero. Okay, I think it's time to finish off another Completionist Cape goal. So the goal I have in mind is the Ark, and it's actually not going to be something that takes nearly as long as I thought this would be. You only have to unlock a few of the upgrades in the Ark for the Completionist Cape requirement, and this was a complete surprise to me, but apparently I've done the Ark before because I have 17,000 chimes in my money pouch. So this must have happened at some point pretty recently after the Ark came out. I have to be honest, I have absolutely zero recollection of actually going on missions here. I know I did it on the Iron Man a little bit, but yeah, apparently I did it on Monkazunki as well. So in order to finish off the Completionist Cape requirement, you need about 25,000 chimes, which as you can see we're pretty close to, and then you also need a decent amount of this Taijitu. You can just do the Ark missions in order to get Taijitu, but another really good way to get it, and one way that we should probably consider pretty strongly, is by doing some of the storylines instead. So a lot of these mini quests I believe are required for the Completionist Cape anyway, and even if they're not, they are going to be some interesting content, and they award Taijitu at the end as part of the quest reward. So I just looked it up, and 21 Taijitu is the magic number that you need to unlock all of the Completionist Cape requirement upgrades. And then also in my bank I have like a decent amount of Aliyah Sea Salt, not a whole lot of anything else, but there are a few Ark rewards that I could potentially sell here, and that may get us pretty close to that 25,000 chime mark that we need as well. So just by completing some of these Tales of the Ark mini quests, that's going to get us enough Taiji2, and then it shouldn't take very long at all in order to finish off those chimes. Okay, first mini quest done on Waco, and I just gotta say I really enjoy I guess just like the theme of these islands, and the quest was pretty fun, and apparently some of these mini quests, there's like an interconnected story that goes on through them, so I'm kind of interested to see what happens. But we did actually profit chimes. We have more chimes now than we started the quest with. Okay, here we go. First warband I've done in I don't even want to know how many years. I'll actually try to loot the supplies and get away. Looks like we've got herblore, construction, and mining. I'm going for that Herbie. Oh, and there it is. It only took one supply. elite wildy tasks are done. I'm gonna try to survive and go turn these in though. Okay, we made it. This is actually really nice now that you no longer have to be like a part of a clan just in order to do warbands. Okay, turn it in for XP. 121k free herb, which is really nice. Okay, now we get to claim our Wilderness Sword 4 rewards now, and I think these XP lamps are going to be really good, because even the like medium and hard tasks gave an insane amount of XP. Yeah, 95k herb for the first one and for the second one, so almost 200k. And this Wilderness Sword 4 is actually really nice. It notes Searing Ashes, so we could finally do this Lava Strike Worm task we've had for absolutely forever. And also it teleports you to a Warbands camp once per day, and it teleports you to the Agility course, which is probably pretty good XP. Which I think is really good XP if you're wearing that skull. I don't know, maybe something worth considering if 120 agility ever becomes a skill. Alright, now it's time for the real reason we did all of that. Let's check this off. Taskmaster is done now. Okay, I'm just finishing up Spiritual Enlightenment here. This one used to give access to Arhats, which used to be a pretty good money-making method with the spears. However, of course, with the advent of the Tier 90 and Tier 92 spears with Archaeology, they're no longer worth anything. But there's another one down. We're finishing up another mini quest. Honestly, this one took quite a while in terms of prep because I had to gather a bunch of supplies on the Uncharted Isles, and then I had to the doing of the actual mini quest took a while too. So, but Jed Hunter, we got 10 Taijitu from finishing that, which is I think just about all the Taijitu we need. However, we're gonna keep doing these quests, of course. At the start of this, I wasn't planning on doing all these mini quests back to back to back, but they've been pretty fun. So here's another one down. I just finished the Undead Jed one as soon as this dialogue ends. And I think the rewards for this one are pretty decent too. 250 chimes. Is that only one Taijitu? Maybe it's not great, but there's another one down. I think we're about halfway through all of them now. Okay, it looks like double XP is live. Honestly, I haven't really prepped much of a plan for double XP. The best course of action would probably just be to like do some archaeology, because that's the skill I need to get 99 in. I do have a decent store of archaeology damaged relics and stuff to restore. I don't have a whole lot, but let's see how far we can get this weekend with double XP. And due to knowing almost nothing about how double XP weekend mechanics work, I didn't know this until now, but apparently you can pause your double XP, which I've done because I want to finish off this mini quest, and obviously it wouldn't be worth running it. Okay, there's another mini quest done, and apparently the method I just described for archaeology is not going to work, because I guess double XP does not work for restoring artifacts. We can still do archaeology, and I think I will. The double XP just for collecting materials isn't great, but it really is the only skill I need to train. We still need to get 120 herb lore, but I can't afford to train that at the moment, and 120 invention, but I'm not worried about invention because there's one thing I know for sure I'll be doing throughout the next however long. It's going to be combat, so we'll get 120 invention just by killing stuff. So if you've been paying attention throughout these past few clips, you've probably noticed my cash stack has just been slowly dwindling, and I have almost no money left. And I'm really glad that we can pause the timer because I need to take some time to sell off some daily stuff. So if we go in my dailies tab, this is the reason why I have no money. I got a lot of broads. Well, honestly, the bigger reason is because of this tab. When I came back to RS3, I had basically no runes, and I've purchased all of these from shops, and that's taken up quite a bit of cash. Okay, I pulled all the stuff out of my bank that I want to sell. I'm not selling all of my runes, but I am selling enough where I still have a decent stack left over, but I can get some cash out of all the money that I've been spending buying runes. But we got lots of Viswax, lots of broad arrowheads, and plenty of spirit weeds. I also have some coconuts. I did a couple runs. I'm not going to do them anymore. Oh my god. That was so much more money than I thought. I wonder if it's going to sell for more or less because of double XP weekend. I'm honestly not sure. Okay, that's the last of it. The spirit weed should be my biggest thing, about 12.2 mil from those, and I haven't even done that many runs. The yak hides aren't selling very well. I'm probably just going to stop doing those, and the same with the broad arrowheads. I'm still going to buy broads, but one reason for this might be because like people are trying to merch them during double XP weekend, and maybe it just didn't work out. I know the things that merch well can vary based on the double XP weekend, because I've had items in the past that worked really well for merching, then I tried it again the next double XP weekend and it just didn't work at all because I guess people caught on. So maybe that's what's happening with broads. So I spotted this little guy wandering around during my farm run, and apparently I haven't done the quest for it. But I remembered that spying on penguins is now a Completionist Cape requirement, and it would also be a really good way to train archaeology, because archaeology is a slow skill. So maybe we should start working on that. Okay, it should be time to make some actual archaeology progress. Oh, I just have to deposit these last 2 gold runes I was short. So if I make this mace, and then I also have a daily challenge to turn in, this should be enough XP to get us a level, which is actually going to be a pretty key archaeology level. Alright, let's turn in this challenge, and unfortunately you don't get double XP for any of this, so that's why I have my double XP turned off. But we have access to the Warforge now. And also another big thing that 76 does for you, it allows you to actually do stuff in the Armadillo dig site. Previously you're just limited to the entrance, but now you can like go in and do stuff. So just out of curiosity, what are you guys working on during your double XP weekend? My little side project while I'm AFKing has been Hearthstone. Nice. So I'm working on finding all the parts to upgrade the wingsuit and flying around the Stormguard Citadel, and I honestly gotta say this is probably some of the coolest content I've seen in this game, and I don't even know how long. So that huge cash stack that we got from selling off all of the daily supplies, yeah, that one didn't really last very long. I ended up buying a set of Serenic, and then I also augmented it, and part of augmenting is you have to spend, I think, 36 divine charges per Serenic piece in order to augment, so it is fairly expensive to do so. So that's where the majority of that 60 mil or so that we got from selling off all of our stuff went. But I think this will be worth it. It'll be really nice for racks. The main reason I augmented it now was actually for a Virago trip, because I don't have any mage gear, so I was going to range instead. But in the future it will be amazing for racks as well, which actually you'll see soon, because I may have just happened to have a death assignment to kill some Araxor. I also went ahead and I unlocked all of the bonfires except for the Elder Logs, just because that one is expensive. I'll get it eventually, but up through Magic Log Bonfire has now been unlocked. And so I used the Serenic gear right away on the Virago trip that I alluded to. I just did kind of like a leech DPS roll with 3 of my friends at Virago. It was really nice getting back into the swing of things and killing Rago again. It had been a long time. I honestly didn't remember like hardly any of the mechanics. I really messed up the first couple of kills just because I didn't know what I was doing. However, we did get some kills done. Virago is much easier now than it used to be, at least as a leech DPS, but I guess that was kind of always the case. But I will be going back to Virago in the next few coming weeks, and it would be really nice to get back into doing rolls again, and I'd even like to learn base tanking, which could be fun. And I do have the melee gear for it, thankfully. So here's the split. Energy is worth a lot right now, so we actually profited around 12 mil in just an hour of doing Virago. So since our timer was paused anyway, and since we had just upgraded to Serenic gear, I figured it was a really good time to get back to Araxor, finish off the Reaper task that I had been holding on to for a few days, and of course get revenge on the Spider Boss. So I once again had a 6-kill Reaper assignment here, and if you can remember from a couple of weeks ago, we attempted a 6-kill task at Araxor, and I was not able to get all 6 kills done in one day, and I ended up having to cancel it and get another task just so we could get our Reaper points for that day. But this time I was able to. I don't know if it was the Serenic armor, I don't know if it was being better at prayer switching, but the boss just seems way easier now, and I think I've finally gotten over a bit of my arachnophobia. And finally, we're going to end off. I'm going to reap the fruits of my labors with some of the archaeology. I did collect a lot of artifacts. I believe you collect them faster during double XP weekend, or maybe I was just so AFK I didn't notice. But this is all the artifacts I have. I still have double XP paused, and that's because you don't get double XP for restoring these, unfortunately. But we're starting off at 77 archaeology with 105k XP to go. I'm not sure if this will get me the level or not, but let's go for it and find out. Oh, this will easily get us level. I think I even had 1 or 2 artifacts left over. Yeah, this next one should hit it. And I also had a daily challenge to turn in, so no worries. This is going to be 78 archaeology. I don't believe we unlock any new dig site locations or anything at 78. However, I got plenty of these guys from the Stormguard Citadel, so the next step is going to be heading over to the Warforge and starting there, because at 76 you can do the spot that gives you these artifacts, and then you can also do the Warforge. I just figured I'd get these out of the way first. And it's starting to get to the point where there's enough XP between levels where you actually have a pretty good store of extra artifacts, which is going to be nice. I'm going to disassemble them. We now have some augmented Serenic that needs to be perked up. I haven't installed any perks on it yet, so I do need the materials from disassembling some of those archaeology artifacts for the materials to make those ancient armor gizmos. So we'll probably work on that during the next week, though. And with that, that's all I got for you. I hope you guys are all having a really excellent double XP weekend, hopefully doing something a little bit more efficient, a little bit more impactful than using up your double XP on just digging archaeology spots like I am. But if all you have to work on is archaeology, and that's really the only skill that you need, might as well use your double XP however you can. Alright, thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.